This is the new Skoda Kamiq, and it's a little bit like the smallest Russian doll, because the mid-sized Russian doll would be the Skoda Karoq, and the large Russian doll would be the Skoda Kodiaq. Yes, all very nicely explained. So it's the smallest Skoda SUV, and it has the smallest price of the Skoda SUVs. So it starts from £17,700, so you can save an average of £1,800 off one through CarWow. If you click on the pop-out banner up there, you can go to CarWow to see how much you can save on a new car, and generally compare all cars for reviews, lease deals, and all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. Go on. Let's start this review by talking about the Kamiq's design. So from the back, it looks like this. At the sides, it looks very much like this, and you'll notice that from the front, it looks like this. Yeah, I'm not getting into too much detail here because it's one of the least exciting small SUVs to look at. If you want something that looks cooler, click on the pop-out banner up there and check out the review of the Peugeot 2008. Here inside the front, the Kamiq's design is very neat. It's very tidy. Some may say it's a little bit boring. I may say it's a little bit boring. Though you can liven it up with bits of trim. I tell you what is nice though, the fact you have soft touch materials here on the dash and on the door tops, which you do not have in the Volkswagen T-Cross, which is effectively this car's cousin. Now some people might be saying, well, who cares about soft touch material up there? You're not touching that. However, look at it. You can tell that this is a more expensive, softer material, and it's right in your eye line. Whereas if you look at the harder materials down here, you can see they just don't look as nice. So even though you're not feeling them, it increases the quality feel. Things you do feel nice, like the leather steering wheel and the leather gear selector. That's all very good. In fact, that brings me on to this car's equipment list. The entry-level S is pretty basic, though it does have LED headlights, scrolling rear indicators, alloy wheels, air conditioning, and an infotainment system, though the screen is rather small. Looks like this. No. The next model up is the SE, and it has a larger 8-inch infotainment screen, which looks like this, and it includes Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Yay! There's also rear parking sensors, lumbar support for the front seats, and cruise control, and I think it's the trim to go for. The top of the range car is the SEL, and it has this huge infotainment screen which looks glorious, and it includes navigation. You also have a digital driver's display, some rather funky trim on the seats, and bits of shiny plastic throughout the cabin to just liven things up a bit. Let's continue the review by talking about the infotainment system. Obviously this is the top of the range one, and it's lovely. Look at the screen, it's beautiful and bright, it's very responsive. You can control it with gesture control as well, look at that, although it's not always easy to do. Anyway, the inbuilt satellite navigation is easy to program, put in destination very simply, and it'll do things like allow you to put in a waypoint quickly and even navigate you around the traffic, but you're not going to use any of that. You're just going to plug in your phone, use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, aren't you? The digital dials, they're good. You can change the view and show lots of different information. Really, really useful, like that. As for connectivity, it's pretty good in this car. So you have 2 USB inputs there. They are USB-C. Obviously, Skoda's trying to future-proof this, so you'll need one of these adapters if you've got old-school USB. There's a charging pad on this car for your mobile phone there, so you can do wireless charging. Under here, there is nothing besides a little bit of space. There is a 12-volt socket there if you do need it. And look, whoa, this car has a manual handbrake. I used to like those, but really, electronic ones just free up space. Talking of space, you've got big door bins, look at that. Easily fit a bottle in there. What's not so good though is this. You can't fit a bigger bottle in these cup holders, no matter how hard I smash at it. Seem like a madman. Down here, you've got some more storage here. There's a little bit underneath the seat there, and the glove box is a reasonable size. And that's about your lot for storage. As for getting comfy behind the wheel, super easy. Look, lots of adjustment in the steering column. And if you really ram it home hard, then you'll turn on the windscreen wipers like I just did. Plenty of adjustment in the seats as well. And I must say, I do like these seats in this particular design. And of course, a Skoda being a Skoda, everything is just in the right position. Lights, climate, and that's it. Simple. The back seats are the Kamiq's trump card because it's one of the roomiest of these small SUVs. Look, loads of knee room, loads of headroom. Also, the front seats are quite raised up, so you can put your feet underneath them to stretch out a bit more. Even very, very tall people will be fine back here. Kids will like it as well because you've got huge back windows so you get a good view out. If you need to carry really small children, it's easy enough to fit a child seat because the Isofix points are easy to get to, though you might lose those removable Isofix covers. Still, there's plenty of room to fit one of the big rear-facing seats, though if you do have 2 seats in the back, there is not enough room to carry an adult between them. But what you can do is fit a child seat into the front passenger seat because you can get Isofix anchor points there as well. However, when it comes to carrying 3 in the back at once, this car isn't actually as good as you think it would be. So the centre seat is a bit raised up, which is annoying. More annoying though is for the people on the outer seats because then they get pushed to the sides and they will start hitting their heads on this roof because it does slope inwards slightly. In terms of other areas of practicality, well, this car doesn't have a centre armrest, but many of these small SUVs don't really, to be fair. You do have some pockets here, but they're not very big, and then there's some pockets here, which I think are for like just warming your hands. There are some big door pockets though, which are more useful, which fits a big bottle, which is just grand. Let's check out the boot. The load lugging capacity on this Kamiq is 400 litres with the seats in place, which is actually pretty average for this class. You'd have a nice square shape, as you can see, and look, no load lip, so you can slide things. Those cases ain't gonna last long, are they? You can slide things out very easily. It also means that when you fold down the rear seats, look at that. It's not too bad. It's not completely flat, but it's all right. You can slide things to the front. Let's go get my suitcase back. A little bit scratched. There, to illustrate that. Look at this. Underneath here, you have some extra space and there's enough room to store the parcel shelf. Then there's some other bits and pieces around the place. Look, some storage areas here. You've got some hooks to hang things off, some strappage there, some tethering points there. There's a 12-volt socket there as well if you want to plug in something like a call box. But what about when you want to carry stuff? So with the seats folded down, you can carry 2 large boxes, 12 small boxes, plus a large suitcase, a small suitcase and a soft bag. If you put the seats up, you can actually fit 2 large suitcases, 1 small suitcase and a soft bag underneath the load cover, or a large suitcase and a pram, or a large suitcase and a set of golf clubs. So it seems there's not really much to complain about when it comes to practicality on this car, but it's not all perfect. Here's 5 annoying things about the Skoda Kamiq. For some reason, the vanity mirrors do not have a light. So what happens when I want to check how good looking I am and it's dark? Skoda's tried to be all clever with the design of these door handles throughout the car, but it's actually really awkward to get your hands in. It's just style over substance, guys, style over substance. For some reason, if you have the car with a panoramic glass roof, which is lovely, you don't get a sunglasses holder, which is a bit annoying because if you've got a glass roof, you're probably more likely to need to have your sunglasses on. I do like how this car has physical buttons for the climate control, so look, I can alter the temperature very easy. However, I now want to reduce the fan speed because you might be picking it up on my mic. Wait a minute, there's no button for that. Ah, okay, I have to press menu to get it up on the main screen. I have to, but for some reason it's not working. I have checked the manual, it should do that, but I think this car's got some gremlins. So I have to operate it now through this. It's taking ages to do the fan speed, and there it is. What a palaver! Sometimes when you're driving down a twisty road, lane keeping assist can be a bit annoying because it keeps tugging at the steering wheel if you go anywhere near the white line. So you can turn it off by going to this menu, then clicking off. Great. However, if you turn the car off and restart it again, you will see, yes, I know the engine's running. Look, it's come back on again automatically, which means you're gonna have to keep on turning it off every time you drive the car if you don't want it on. Thankfully, this car has plenty of cool features to help make up for all this. Here's 5. There's an umbrella hidden just inside the door. Just like on a Rolls-Royce, darling. There's an eye scraper inside the fuel filler cap, which is handy on a day like today, although obviously the ice has already melted. Also, look, it's a magnifying glass. This handy little clip here is perfect for your parking tickets. Look, though I don't have one today, this is just a receipt for illustrative purposes. The light in the boot is removable, look, and then it doubles as a torch. You see these little raised bits inside the cup holder? They actually grip the bottle's bottom, so you can unscrew it one-handed while you're driving along. Cheers. Let's talk about engine choices, because there's quite a few. There's a couple of 1 litres, they're turbocharged petrols, with just 3 cylinders, and the more powerful of them is probably adequate. Then there is a 1.5 litre turbo petrol, which has a bit more pep. It's better for up the motorway. Though if you're doing lots and lots of motorway miles, I would probably go for the 1.6 litre diesel, because that's going to be the most economical. You can get the engines with either a dual clutch automatic gearbox or a manual. There is no 4-wheel drive though, they're all front-wheel drives. So this particular car here is an SEL Kamiq with a higher power 115 horsepower 1 litre engine and the automatic gearbox. The list price should be £23,000. Put the details into the carwow configurator and got an offer back for just over £21,000. Now if you want to try out the carwow configurator yourself, just click up there on the pop-out banner and go try it and see how much money you can save on this or any car for that matter. As a tool for driving around town, this Kamiq is really good. All the controls, super light, easy to use. This automatic gearbox is nice in town as well, though when you're just pulling away it can feel a bit jerky, but that is my only complaint of it. The car is good over bumps as well, it soaks up potholes. It's not quite as good over bumps though as the Volkswagen T-Cross, and if you click up there on the pop-out banner, you can see my full in-depth video review of that car, but I really am splitting hairs. Also, you've got good all-round visibility, which does help when you're parking, as do the parking sensors. Dead easy to drive, and it's got a brilliantly tight turning circle, which is great for U-turns. Now, when you get out on the motorway, put your foot down, gearbox kicks down, and it's got enough pulling power, this 1 litre engine. It's not terrible. As for the economy, well, this car is doing 41 miles per gallon, which I guess is all right. What you do notice as you're going faster is a bit of noise from these hillers here. It's probably because it's a tall-ish car, though it's not that tall actually. Just, yeah, you feel more like you're sat in it like an everyday hatchback than it actually feeling like an SUV to drive, like the way the Nissan Juke does. And if you click up down the pop-out banner, you can watch my full in-depth video review of that car. When you get onto a twisty road, the Kamiq does a good job. It grips onto the road, it goes round, but it doesn't do it in any way, shape or form that has an element of fun. It doesn't even pretend to be sporty. Part of the reason is the steering. Now, you probably won't care, but it is a bit odd the way the steering feels when you're going a bit quicker. It's almost like the wheel isn't connected to the front wheels. I know it must be though, because when I go like that, the car does change direction. And if I go like that, it goes the other way. But it's just so loose and baggy that really you can't be 100% sure. This is a car really that's been set up for people who drive because they need to, not because they particularly want to. And if you're that kind of person, you will like this car, I guarantee it. So then, what's my final verdict on the new Skoda Kamiq? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist the Kamiq. It's not really that exciting, but you can't argue with the fact that it's a good all-round car. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to this channel for more videos, and if you click on the deals box to the right, you can see how much you can save on a new car at CarWow. Or click on the video windows below to watch another of my videos.